Welcome to WFPC Podcasting, your local source for the heart and history of Pike County, Indiana. And now, here's your host, Randy Harris.
There are a lot of changes for the 26-27 school year at the Pike County School Corporation. We've got a new superintendent. She is Dana Deffendall. She's a Pike County girl, and she is our guest to talk about what they're doing to give our children an even stronger education to prepare the students for today's ever-changing world. We'll be back with Mrs. Deffendall right after this.
This is Kyle Hathaway with Hathaway Excavating and Rock Yard. We have the equipment and crew to take care of your earth-moving needs, septic installs, and digging out what you need dug out. We also deliver rock, and we maintain and pump septics. We're just a couple miles away. Call Hathaway Excavating at 812-582-2646.
WFPC is sponsored by the Dustin Schnare Agency for Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Dustin and his staff, including Tyler Dillon, are right here in Pike County. It's face-to-face, and they guide you through the process of insurance. Whether it's home, auto, farm, commercial, or life, the Dustin Schnare Agency is here to help. Call the Dustin Schnare Agency at 812-766-1117 or stop in at the new office on State Road 61 at Petersburg. This program is sponsored in part by Dr. Clint Schultz with Schultz Eye Care in Petersburg. Schultz Eye Care offers comprehensive dilated eye exams, contact exams, a huge selection of name brand frames for glasses and sunglasses, and if you buy a pair, get a second pair at 50% off and a year's supply of contacts at 25% off. Schultz Eye Care is an independent office and are open through the week except Tuesday afternoon. The phone number is 812-354-9400. Dana, I can call you Dana. I'm not one of your students.
That's right. Please do. Please do.
It's great to see you again. You came on last year in a slightly different role. Now you're in the top tier. How is it going so far in this early school year?
Good. I've not quite been in the role for 60 days, so it's in some ways it feels like the fastest passage of time, and in other ways it feels like, oh, I can't believe all that's happened. But it's been a very good start of the school year. I've met with a lot of groups, talked to a lot of people, listened a ton. It's
all about
big role
listening,
at first.
isn't it?
Yeah, listen more than you talk, absolutely, and listen to understand, not just to say that I heard it. I want to put action into place. And you mentioned being here last year, and that was, I was talking about CARS,
right,
the community group that we started in January, and that was so great. And I'm absolutely happy that we did that and plan to continue meeting with that group because they were a wonderful device for input and great perspective coming into what I had no idea that I was going to take this role in. But
so let's go ahead and talk about that. What did you learn? What did you gain from that CARS group?
One issue that we kept coming back to was involvement and engagement in our schools by our students, by parents, by families, by community members, and we kept saying, if we can improve that, if we can get people in the building, then I think they'll see more of us and they'll understand more. I know I've said before that we have the absolute best people in our buildings, our kids and our adults. You just can't beat them. And anytime we get a transplant from another district, they always remark on how fantastic our people are. It's what we can really boast above all else, but how do you quantify that and how do you show it? I had the same conversation with Dylan Query, and I was blown away by how well he captured that when I said, I don't know how you capture that, but that's what we do so special, and he did, and you've seen the positive reaction to that, and I think it's because people were so excited to see it captured. But anyways, we kept talking about if we could just get him in the school, because right now people see us, and they interact with the school either at drop-off, pickup, or athletics. And that's it. They're not in the classroom every day. They're not in the hallways. And so you can feel disconnected, and I understand that. And I think if we can get them to see more of that, then they would be more invested because we've got such great things going on.
One of my closest friends, and she actually got a name drop with Mr. Kokenauer, but Marcia Mishler and I grew up together, and her dad and my dad were very close and were roommates in college. So, and she and I grew up together, worked together, and she was so impressed when she came here. And
yeah, I talked to her a lot to get her here, and she had said she wasn't sure she wanted to come out of retirement, to work. And she said, "Well, if I'm going to do it, Pike is the only place I'll do it for." And we ended up getting her for the time that we did, and she's phenomenal. But that issue we kept talking about it in cars, and it came up a lot. And one of the ideas that they actually brought up was, could we do free passes for students? Could we let them in games for free? And we were just able to do that.
That's a reality.
Yes, and it took some time. We didn't know if we'd be able to. We ran into a couple walls with ways to get it done, but ultimately, Carla Willis was a great asset. She kept pushing for that, and then our treasurer, Chelsea Yawn, kept exploring different avenues, and we were finally able to get it done. And we spent Friday, I was printing them off and cutting them, and we're hoping to get them laminated and passed out before Tuesday evening's events so that they can be used by the kids. But I think the hope, again, is to get more students at the events and engaged with each other and with our community members, and hopefully they'll see what that is and the value that adds, and they'll keep it up.
Just, having enthusiasm about your school.
Yeah. And I get it because, when I was a student, I worked nearly full time, from the time I was 15, I had to. So there was a lot of opportunities I didn't take part in. But so I understand that avenue and how that's important and the value that adds to the individual students' lives. But if we can eliminate maybe some of that financial barrier for families to be able to attend these events, if we can at all make that happen, then I think it's a win-win for everyone. For our athletes to have their peers there, for the students to have an activity to go to that's fun, engaging, positive, safe, and hopefully for the culture and school spirit as a whole.
I'm going to throw something out, and I might be way off base. COVID, did we see a change with COVID in school spirit?
Well, I can't speak really confidently about that because I was started as assistant superintendent in October of 2019. So I was only in that position for 5 months before shutdown happened. So during COVID and since then is really all I know at the district level to a thorough degree.
What are your biggest obstacles that you're seeing right now? What,
as a whole?
Yeah, as a school corporation.
Oh, financial is tops, and then we go to the involvement, the engagement of people, I think, which could contribute. Those all funnel in to be same issues. The county's problems become our problems and vice versa. So what we see reflected, is also happening in our schools.
Angela did a quick study for us. In 1960, Pike County's population was 12,797. In 2020, it's 12,250. So there's only a difference in 60 years of 500 students.
If you look at the age of the
500
population. Yeah,
people.
It's the age of the population, though, that's changing. These aren't school-aged people that are here.
We've got an older demographic.
Yeah.
And if we look at student graduating seniors in 1975, we were at 151. Today we're at 80 to 90.
80s. And our current class is 93. So, and underneath that, they're a little small, and underneath that, it gets to be hundreds. We had a handful of junior grads that shortened that senior list, but we've seen them shrinking slowly over the years. Absolutely. And you look at data from that far back and you could still see it just slowly. I graduated in 06, and I think my class was 129. So it's right there in between,
Yeah. And I've got 1990 was 140, 1980 was 160.
Yeah.
2017 there was a spike at 141. But that's where your revenue is based.
For Education Fund, which is all of our, anything that is directly related to instruction. So all of our curriculum, all of our teachers is the majority of that fund, but the instructional staff that are in the classrooms comes from per student tuition. All of our operating expenses, so like myself and maintenance, custodial, food service, transportation, all of our buildings, that all comes from operations, which is tax dollars. So they're separate funds, and the only way that we get more education funds is through more children, unless the state changes the funding formula, but that's not really gone in our favor for public schools.
And you've got competition that you didn't have when you were in school, much less 1975. You've got online. You don't get credit for that.
Yeah, that's the biggest, I guess, glaring concern. We have students who live close to another district and choose to attend there, and I would hope to be the best Pike County School Corporation that we can be through changes that we're already seeing that are positive. And I think that we be the best that we can be. And then if that parent decides that we're not their best choice, then we've done what we can. I don't want to push people away. I want to make sure that they know what we offer and that we want their child to attend and that they would have a phenomenal experience with us. But beyond that, that's their choice. But at least I know when they're going to a building that they're being seen by that school, that they're getting fed lunch, that they're safe, hopefully. But if, again, we boast features that other districts don't in terms of safety. But anyways, but when they're online, I don't like the fact that no one lays eyes on them,
And they don't lay eyes on other people.
Right.
They don't develop the communication skills that you get on the bus. Maybe that's good.
Well, and there are very legitimate cases where someone's attending online, and I get it. And in that case, I would ask them to talk to us because we do offer a online program, by request that for certain situations is appropriate. And we've had students be very successful in those. But the majority of students don't need it, and they're missing out on experiences that could be really positive and lifelong memories, and so I want to try to bring those people back in and say, whatever pushed you away, give us another shot.
I can't justify this with numbers or statistics, but as our nation developed through the 30s, 40s, 50s, we had people reaching out, and it was easier for them to take a job in an Evansville. I grew up in Evansville, and I would much rather my daughters go to school in Pike County, and now it's a 35-minute drive, 40-minute drive, 45.
Yeah, and that goes back to our people. And I agree. Right now, we don't have the industry. We're the largest employer in Pike County.
That's phenomenal.
So right now, I understand that people might not be moving here to work. But I think it is a very valid sales pitch to say you can move here to live and you can commute to work, because
That's right.
I would stack us up against any community in terms of quality of life, the
school class
support,
sizes,
the support that how integrated,
less nonsense.
way less nonsense. Yeah, and there's some more nonsense in the way, but it's lighter duty.
It's different nonsense.
Yes, it's things that can be overcome with a little forgiveness. But
you know what you just mentioned. You're the CEO of Pike County's biggest employer, and your revenue is all based off of taxes.
Yeah, it's not a normal industry to try to control. It's well in part taxes, and then, like I said, state funding for the other. But it's definitely not
that's
a normal
that's
industry,
taxes.
right? Because we can't control our revenue, and we're also in the position of what we have to spend. Everything is so expensive for a school. We don't have a normal water heater. We don't have a normal furnace or AC. Everything is millions for projects, not thousands.
All right.
But you did mention COVID a while ago, and speaking of online school, that definitely did blow up during COVID with all of these statewide, online schools cropped up, and we will see students attend for 6 months and then they'll re-enroll with us, and it's just a lot to try to catch up on for them.
This program is sponsored in part by the Log Inns Farm, Bed, and Breakfast, just 3 miles west of Petersburg off of State Road 56. It's peaceful, quiet, and you're surrounded by nature in a traditional farm environment. It's nestled in the countryside of a southern Indiana working farm growing grain, hay, and livestock. It incorporates 2 vintage log cabins. Call the Log Inns Farm, Bed, and Breakfast at 812-354-2192. If you are considering buying or selling your home or property, call Harris Real Estate. Real estate is local, and we are too. Over the years, Harris Real Estate has listed and sold hundreds of properties right here. We have clients looking for homes and properties. We know the business, and we know Pike County. 612 East Main Street, Petersburg. Text or call 812-380-1065. There's a lot of summer dust in Pike County, and when you wash your vehicle on a regular basis, you're easier to see. You preserve the life of your vehicle, help maintain its value, protect its paint, prevents corrosion, and it just looks better. It still only takes 6 quarters to get it started, or your credit card. That's what it's always been. Stop by Petersburg Car Wash today, 401 South 9th Street, Petersburg. Keep it clean. Corporation, where do we go from here?
Yeah. It has been, again, it's been a really great start of the year. We, on that first day at Pike Central, we've had a lot of changes. I know Mr. Kokenauer was here talking with you not long ago about the changes at Pike Central, and we switched up the traffic flows. I was making maps trying to make it clear on that, and we were nervous about how that would go with people in the communication, but it went great.
For the next 2 months, I'm in my final tour with driving kids to school.
Yeah. And
she's going to take over the wheel in October. Mm-hmm. So it's been pretty smooth so far.
Absolutely. It was fantastic. And you say your own child, I send my kiddo to Pike Central too. And it's so nice to know that you're sending them off to people who share your values and who will care about them. And I think that you just can't put
we are about as traditional as it gets in this society. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Especially in today's age, and I think that that's highly valuable. But anyways, it was a wonderful first day, and I've loved being out there personally because I was able to go help with lockers being stuck in the combinations. I got back in the rhythm of that.
You've made a change. I don't know if we specifically directed a discussion about that, but you've physically moved.
Yes.
from what was the school corporation office. You're now in what was the middle school office, right?
Yeah. And this idea cropped up before me, but I was the one who was able to see it through. But there's the Pike Central was built for more students than we currently have. And so there were a good number of empty classrooms, most specifically in the middle school. So we looked at moving a couple classrooms and then claiming for central office, and that would allow us to close the building that was our central office. Less expense to operate that, but we're also hoping to lease it and gain additional revenue if a business wants office space. So it's a win-win. Now, when we went and were looking at how to move over there, we'd selected again a pod that was close to the front of the building to move into, and then the administrators ended up saying, we think as a Pike Central, since they were also transitioning to one principal and one middle high school team, that we would be most effective if we're all together. And so we can all move over here, and central office could have that side of the building. And so we said, oh my goodness, that's way more than we expected. And I was shocked with how quickly they moved out. It was the next week. I feel like they got all their stuff and put it toward that end of the building. So we've moved over. We don't quite have all of our records because one of the classrooms that'll be our records is currently holding the welding equipment from the vocational renovation. But there has been a lot, and it has been a very busy summer. So you add that to my first 60 days, the moving. But already the access of central office to people has been phenomenal, because that's where the majority of our students and our staff are. We still have Petersburg and Winslow, but the vast majority are at that one site. So they've been able to swing through and ask questions or fill out paperwork or take care of those tasks in a much more efficient way. And then not to mention the kids.
You've just given me three different questions. Petersburg, Winslow, are they doing okay?
Yeah, I mean, in what way?
Just how...
I mean, in terms of enrollment, they've been slowly shrinking as well. We have absorbed positions where necessary, where we started to see class sizes of 12, 13. If someone left, then we just didn't rehire it.
And you made them class sizes of 17, 18, 20.
Yeah. Yes.
That's
We've got one
very
in
manageable.
low 20s. Yes. One grade level, I think that's 23 at Winslow now, being the highest that we have at elementary level. So they're still
getting that.
They're still very low.
Closer to one-on-one than most places.
Yes. Yeah. They still have a great experience, I think, in terms of class sizes. It's nothing like you hear 30 at EVSC and other places. So right. Yeah, we're not even near that.
Vocational. Tell us about all of the exciting things that are going on.
Yeah.
You're teaching the kids to think and use their head, but also if you're teaching them to use their hand. I read something not even connected with this, but last night that 8th graders that's who we're looking at for our future as far as being involved in the trades.
Yeah.
And you're providing a lot of unique opportunities on vocational. Mm-hmm. Tell us about your vocational programs.
Yeah, I think we do a really, really great job with that as well, at recognizing the skills that are needed by the workforce and trying to make sure that our students are prepared for that. Running the full spectrum of, if you work in a lot of industries, you're going to be using AI as a productivity tool, so we piloted Magic School AI, which is a very controlled environment that allows students to utilize that as a tool. So we did that. And then we've got all the way to the trades that are hands-on, skilled, that we know we have a shortage of. So we offer a lot of programs. Machining is phenomenal, and we have such great equipment in that shop down there. And when I stopped by at the end of last year, one day we had a student who had designed and was fabricating his own intake manifold for his truck, because he said it was going to cost me $1,000, but I realized what it was made of and found the specs, and they were just doing it in class.
Isn't that
as a side project?
Fantastic.
Yeah. And just what a skill, for a teenager to be doing. And then we have obviously our biomed program, and we have criminal justice, and then we have engineering, and then we have construction trades that has boomed.
Tell us about the house.
Yes.
You're building a house.
That's the plan. The Pike Progress Partners agreed to let Jeremy Howald and the construction trade students be the labor for a home that they're building, and then would sell. And so from start to finish, they would be learning while doing that. So definitely, absolutely, because they've already been building really large yard barns, and they've built structures already. But
I usually see one, not right now, but parked as you pull into drop off.
So this is kind of leveling that up.
Now, as we're going through drop off, you've got a big construction.
Yeah.
Tell us about
right,
that.
So it's going to get there, but so the vocational building hasn't been touched since it was constructed when the school
1974, 75.
Yes. So it was in need of, other than the ballista glass that we put up to be in line with the rest of our schools, but on the exterior, but it hadn't been touched. And so it was in need. And again, it's a program that we are so proud of, between our ag and the greenhouse and the welding, and then construction trades is going to be out there. Fire science was out there, which that's really a cool program too. If you walk in, they had all their turnout gear and then their times written above it for how, he would have start with a stopwatch.
Our deputy state fire marshal is a Pike Central graduate.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, and students can get year one done of a 2-year program with Mr. Vall in that program. So again, everywhere you look, there's opportunities. But anyways, so the vocational project is due to be finished this fall, and it was a complete renovation of that building and an updating of the facility. It's gone great, thankfully. And
when do you plan on having students back in there?
Well, some in the classroom should be in a couple of weeks, hopefully, and then, but not a full release of the building entirely. We want to have an open house event when it's finished. We're thinking if it aligns with, say, a home football game, if that works out or something, and while everyone's already there, then we can invite them to walk on down and tour the facility. That's another CARS originated idea, so I'll give the group credit for that one. Because we've talked a lot about, again, people hear stuff, but they don't really know unless they see it. And when we took cars on a tour of that building, for instance, and they talked to the teachers and they said, like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that they were doing this. Like, I knew the program existed, but I didn't know what that meant. And it's just very, very impressive what our students are doing. And again, I think people, if they saw that for themselves, then some of that pride would kick in, and some ownership, and say, you won't believe what my local school's doing, because it's really cool.
Great. Sports, how are we doing in sports? Our numbers are still down.
It still varies. Yeah. We need some more participation. We just worked on a policy with the athletic director and admin, and the board has looked at it once, so they'll have to look at it again in September, that changed our homeschool policy. And that was part of the push to say, what do we need to change to get more involvement, because we need to be willing to do that. And this was more in alignment with what other districts are doing. We used to have that you had to attend 4 full courses in person, and we've now changed it to be the tested subjects only, which is reading or English language arts and math for most grades. So it would be 2. 6th grade tests in science, as well as high school biology. But it would allow students who attend, homeschool or non-accredited schools to participate.
And they get
in our
Pike
ECAs
Central
as long
diploma.
No, they would just attend those 2, maybe 3, but classes in person with us, and then they would be able to participate. But again, if someone wants to join, our volleyball team, for instance, then we want them to be able to do that. As long as they meet all the other criteria for academic eligibility and attendance, and those things are still in place. But if we can remove barriers where it makes sense, then that's what we're trying to do to increase that participation. And you hope that it's something that catches momentum.
Do those homeschool students, they don't go in your enrollment numbers though, do they?
Only partial. It would just be for those two. It would be a fraction.
So like a 0.5 or a 0.25.
Right. Yeah. Yep. But it's more, the gain would be for that number, for that athlete to gain and hopefully make it a better experience for everyone on the team.
What else is on your list?
Yeah, well,
that
we were talking about
discussed?
first day, and we went sideways, and so I'll go.
I go sideways a lot.
Hey, that's great. That's great. That's what a conversation is about. But
It's just a cup of coffee and a cup of water.
That's
We're just talking.
yeah, and so we had quite an eventful first day. Again, it was great. Drop off went great, and all the students, wonderful feedback from the staff about everything was positive. And I will also shout out, here I'm going sideways now, to all of the buildings and the open house. I attended each open house for our elementaries and then middle high, and there was more people at those than I've ever seen before. So I really appreciate the teachers and the parents and the administrators for putting on such a great event. It really filled my cup up to be at Pike Central and see people loitering there, that we had food trucks and things, and they were getting a sandwich, they were talking to each other. It was a sense of community, and that's exactly what I picture. I want our schools to be a community hub where people go to be together and to support each other and support our programs. I don't want to be something that's separate and feels blocked off from people.
And now the superintendent is directly connected
to
all that.
Yeah, and I feel like that sense of connection will
You're
help.
not in your...
Yes.
Not that it's an ivory tower, but you're not...
No, separate.
You're on site.
Yes, and that's where I'm saying people who can just swing by, and talk and engage or have me. And I said, I always loved the classroom. I really thought I was more likely to go back to the classroom than I would have been to go to the superintendent. But the way life happens.
That's not what God's providence had, is it?
Exactly. So, but, and I missed that dearly. I would do junior achievement. I would go out. I would try to do things to spend time with them. But it's hard when you're in a whole separate building. And so being there, if I'm in between something and I hear the bell ring, I'll go, oh, let me go walk around and chat with them and things. So it's a lot easier to fit in that connection, which is good for me and good for, I think,
good for the students
else.
To see you and the community. You're a real person.
Yeah. I'm nobody important. I never have been, never will be. It's I'm just doing my best here, and I hope
still that girl from Winslow
knows that. Yeah. Oh yeah. If you've known me in my life, then you know me today. It's But we had an eventful day. It was great, and then an unfortunate evening with the tornado in Winslow, and I actually got a call and was at Pike Central before I got the call that Winslow had damage. And we have a roof project going at Pike Central as well. And it was about a week from being finished, and not sure exactly what happened, but something failed on the portion that they were working on. And we had water, a torrential downpour raining down through two portions of the building.
Wind and rain is hard to compete against.
Yes, I think that, again, that the path of that storm came right over Pike Central before Winslow, and so I think it whipped something loose. But we're actually doing the walkthrough today to check on make sure everything dried adequately and
you only missed one day of school.
Right, and then Winslow, it was trees. I mean, I drove through the neighborhood before we made the decision not to go and talk to administrators. Even Petersburg, there were so many people impacted, but that attended there, because I was like, well, could we send that one building only? But it wasn't in the best interest. But I mean, just driving around, I saw 10 to 15 houses with trees on them. So it was a pretty good one. And everyone did great communicating with me. The sheriff, took me around to see some of the worst of it.
Highway department.
Yes, I was really happy, for my first experience with that. The level of communication was really strong. But we needed to cancel. And so I used that, tried to as a learning experience too. after the calls were made and the next day I reached out to people and said, okay, what did I miss? Where did I, who did I not contact, or what was and everyone was, I guess, too nice to point out and said it went well. But I really hope people feel that I did my best to be transparent. I didn't know if we were going to have to make up the day or not. I needed to look at a variety of things. And so I just said, hey, I need to look at this before I'll be able to tell you, but I promise I'll let you know as soon as I can. And then I did. We have a waiver, which Dr. Blake had applied for and was already in place. So I needed to dig that up and look at exactly what it said, because we were allowed to attend 176 instructional days instead of, the 180 that the state requires, because we used 4 for professional development. So I wanted to look up the exact verbiage of that and then look at our calendar and count the days. And the state still has not gotten back to me about whether or not we'll be able to waive the day due to the tornado.
Oh, okay.
But due to our calendar, I was able to go ahead and determine that we'll be good regardless.
Pull from here.
Well, we won't even have to change it because we were attending 177 days.
Okay.
So we can just not count that one and we'll still be okay. But those were the things, and I think everyone was patient, and I didn't hear a lot of negativity, which was really, really good.
Jenna, and she told me, don't say this.
And so you're going to say
it. There was a little bit of fog this morning. She said, 2-hour delay, where is it?
Yeah.
They like 2-hour delays.
Right. Well, I don't plan to make the weather calls. We have a director of support services who talks to all of his bus drivers every day. Mr. Chestnut.
He's great.
And but where there's student safety or well-being or academic need determined, that's where I'll factor in, like with the tornado, or if we're going on a span. So I'll just be one of the people giving input. I won't be the person. So you can give her his number.
I have it. Yeah. He's great.
Oh yeah. We've worked great together. We've gotten a lot done this year as well. I mean, again, we've got the projects on the roof, and we have the vocational building, and then we tackled. There was a lot of drywall that over the years at Pike Central had been damaged, and so we tackled that. We had some to fix at Petersburg as well, just showing people that we're investing. We have pride in our facilities and in what we have. And
where do you see the school corporation 5-10 years down the road? Can you predict that? We just keep doing the best we can, and
yeah, absolutely. But I don't like the idea of just battening down the hatches and trying to shore up. I like action. I like saying, being reflective and saying what are the areas that we might be pushing people away in accidentally. And it's never on purpose, I don't think. Again, we have very good, well-meaning people, but we're only one perspective. We only see what we see, and we have the information we have. Sometimes there's under communication just because we don't know that people don't know that thing, So I hope to establish greater trust through transparent communication, and that people know that if I say something, then that's what I know to be true at that time, and maybe I'm wrong, and I'm totally fine saying I'm wrong. None of us are perfect or knowers of all, so I think being able to say that and say, well, we'll learn from it and do better next time. I think that's what we advocate to our students is the learning process, and so I think that's what we can employ as adults. And I want the public to get behind that and give us feedback in a way that's actionable and positive so that we can grow versus just critique for the sake of negativity. There's a difference between those things.
This is so much nicer than a mean tweet. And if someone can speak with you or somebody directly, that goes so much further than just having
if they reach out individually,
being a keyboard warrior.
If something is posted online, I don't assume that that's for me. because it's on their page. It's on there. They didn't reach out to me. I've got email, I've got phone, we've got multiple avenues for them to reach out. So if someone reaches out to me, I am more than happy to respond. I feel like questions mean that you care. Questions are an opportunity for a conversation and an exchange of perspectives and information. So I love that. I welcome that. But if something's just posted online and I was never asked about it, that's not mine. It's not for me. It's for them. And I accepted this job and then logged out of Facebook because I know how it goes. I get on for work to the PCSC page. I still do that one.
Same
but
here.
otherwise, it's just too painful. This is my community. These are the people that I care about. So it can be tender.
It can be a big distraction. I publish what I need to publish, but I can't sit and scroll.
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely. There's connection to be found there, I think, for people, but you do have to be very selective in what you're doing because there's also a lot of room for negativity and damage and people only validating their own views instead of talking to people with other perspectives, and I think that allows us to zone in and think that there is no other perspective,
What is on your list that we have not covered?
Oh, if for the sports passes, that we talked about, if we have through the GAB, German American Bank, thank you.
What a gift.
Spirit cards.
Isn't that
yes,
great?
Yes. So through the Spirit card, people using those, we're going to use those funds. Now we're going to pay for half of what the anticipated loss is. So we're not paying full price for a pass for every kid. We asked athletics to say, what will you lose that you need to operate if you don't sell any kids tickets at the gate or season passes? And then we're giving them half right now, and then we don't quite have full the other half, but nearly. And so if any other businesses want to support this, either for this year or for next year, that would be amazing, and we'll make sure that we sing your praises for contributing to that involvement.
Well, Mrs. Deffendall, we are so happy that you came in and gave us an update. And we, of course, wish you the best.
Thank you. We appreciate the opportunity to be here and share what's happening in our schools.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of WFPC Podcasting. The program is brought to you by Hathaway Excavating and Rock Yard, Schultz Eye Care, the Log Ends Farm Bed and Breakfast, the Destin Schneer Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agency, Harris Real Estate, and Petersburg Car Wash. Please thank our sponsors for their continued investment in Pike County. A new program appears each Friday on WFPCpodcasting.com, exploring the people, information, and news right here in Pike County. See you next week.
Thanks for watching WFPC Podcasting, your local source for the heart and history of Pike County, Indiana. From back roads to town centers, we bring you the voices, stories, and news that shape our community. Join us on this journey through the past, present, and future of Pike County, Indiana. Tune in next week for the next episode of WFPC Podcasting.